Good morning, everybody.
Morning,
I'm
Rex.
Captain Gibbon on behalf of the Beaufort Fire Department. I would like to welcome each and every one of you on this special day. Whether you're a town official, firefighter, or citizen, we're glad you could join us in front of this beautiful station. It's not often an agency is able to celebrate such an amazing accomplishment, and we are blessed beyond belief. If everyone could, please stand. Face to your left, the American flag, as we recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Take a seat. And at this time, I would like to introduce Lieutenant Brian Myers.
Hello everyone, I'm Lieutenant Brian Myers. As Captain Gibble stated, we are honored everyone could join us to celebrate such an amazing accomplishment for the Town of Beaufort and Beaufort Fire Department. History and tradition are both very important to the fire service as they go hand in hand with each other. With the completion of 2016, not only do we celebrate the completion of this beautiful facility behind me, but we also celebrate the completion of our 150th year of service to the community. The town's first fire company started in 1866 under the name of Oceanic Cook and Ladder Company. Though it is not known exactly where the original station was located due to lack of documentation, the history of the original fire company is important to the lineage of Beaufort. In reviewing the Sanborn insurance maps, information from fire service historians such as Mike Lagueros, and speaking with retired members and their families, it is known that the fire station of 1898 was located at 419 Craven, which is in a block that we know today as 100 block. In the old days, at this time it was called Robert E. Lee Fire Company. The station was comprised of 40 volunteers and a hand-drawn chemical engine company. In 1907, the department's name officially changed to Beaufort Fire Department. 1908 is documented that was comprised of two separate fire companies under one department. First fire station was made up of 24 white volunteers, a Howe triplex engine company, and a hose cart. And the second company was all African American, made up of 20 volunteers, a hand engine, and a hose cart. In 1913, the department was made up of one paid chief, two fire companies, and two stations. The first station was made up of one horse used for street work during the day, one drop harness, one paid full-time driver, one part-time driver, 20 volunteers, a Howe triplex engine, and a hose wagon. Second company, located at 304 Broad Street, was made up of 20 African American volunteers, one hand engine, and one hose cart. In the early days, there were also private fire companies around Beaufort that served private corporations, such as the Day Brothers, manufacturers of fish scrap and oil on Lennoxville Road, who had their own fire brigade and a steam engine. In 1924, the department was made up of two all-volunteer companies and three stations. Both the white and African American companies had 21 volunteers apiece. The all-white company had one horse-drawn hose reel, two 2.5-gallon fire extinguishers, and had placed the order for a 1924 Child's triple combination chemical pumper, mounted on a Graham Dodge truck chassis. Station 2 was located on Live Oak Street and Broad Street and was comprised of one hand-drawn hose reel. Station 3 was located at Cedar and Pollock and was also comprised of one hand-drawn hose reel. The records from 1941 show many changes for the Beaufort Fire Department, not only for new pieces of equipment, but also the first documentation of an integrated fire company. The fire department was made up of one station, one partly paid chief, one partly paid assistant chief, one full-time driver, 4 part-time drivers, and 44 partly paid members. The department had an American LaFrance motorized triple combination engine with a 1,000-gallon pump and 40 foot of ladders, and a Dodge Darley triple combination engine with a 500-gallon per minute pump, 200-gallon tank, and 40-gallon chemical tank, and 40 feet of ladders. On December 16, 1958, firefighter Julius Duncan Jr. died in the line of duty due to a heart attack following a house fire. His sacrifice is honored at the North Carolina Fallen Firefighters Memorial in Raleigh, North Carolina. This has been the only reported line of duty death for the Beaufort Fire Department. On August 5th, 1966, the fire station burned due to the explosion of the department's 1927 American LaFrance Engine Company in the apparatus bay during morning checks. Fire in 1966 led to the building of the old Station 1 located at 900 Cedar Street. This station was constructed on Courthouse Square in 1870 and was originally a public school. There was also a fire in 1927 in the fire station. During this time, the fire station and the police department were connected, and one prisoner died during the fire. Though the department has changed much over the past 150 years, the pride and honor to serve the citizens of Beaufort has not. Fire service has gone from fireboxes, such as those listed on the old box board on the wall in the bay, to pagers and radios, hand and horse-drawn engines, to the fine piece of machinery you see behind me. Things will always change, as everything does, but the traditions of the fire department will hold true. We will continue to do everything we can to be the best for the citizens of Beaufort. One statement holds true through this: you never know where you're going unless you know where you come from. Thank you. I'd like to welcome Lieutenant Craig Hoffman to the front.
Now I'd like to talk a little bit about bagpipes in the fire service. Bagpipes came to the fire service in the 1800s. The Scottish and Irish brought them as they immigrated, searched for a better life. When they got here, they were only met by jobs nobody else wanted. The dirty, the undesirable, the dangerous. Most of the Irish became firefighters and police officers. As you can imagine, our profession was extremely dangerous back then. Fires burned out of control, limited water, lack of PPE. There was many firefighter deaths. The funerals were typical of all Irish funerals, included traditional bagpipe music. Bagpipes are undoubtedly intertwined in the fire service today. Together, these honor our fallen and our noble history. And now, Captain White from Atlantic Beach Fire Department is going to play America the Beautiful, followed by Amazing Grace.
Good morning. I'm going to talk about the out with the old, in with the new. In 1966, the Beaufort Fire Station was located on Broad Street. There was a devastating fire that caused our fire station to be rebuilt at the new location of 900 Cedar Street. In 1968, the Cedar Street Firehouse was built to house one paid engineer on duty at a time and volunteer members of the department. After hiring the third paid engineer, the chief's office was turned into a bedroom for the paid staff. Cedar Street Firehouse was also built to house 2 fire engines, a tanker, and a ladder truck. In 1986, a captain's office / bedroom was made so the chief would have an office. when the Cedar Street Firehouse was built for the town of Beaufort, there were no plans of having more than one full-time paid staff at a time. In April of 2006, Beaufort Fire Department had 3 shifts with 4 full-time staff members each: a shift captain, a senior engineer, and a firefighter. In 2014, the members of the department and the town made needed renovations to the Cedar Street Firehouse to update the station. In 2016, the town of Beaufort started building our current station at 506 Live Oak Street. Our new station is approximately 12,000 square foot. Our new building was designed for growth of the department and for the town. It was designed with 3 pull-through bays to house 2 engines, a tanker, a boat, and a brush unit, and allowing room for larger apparatus as the town grows in years to come. This fire station was also built to help staff feel like it was home, as we spend 30% or more of our lives here. The fire station has 6 bedrooms for staff, a day room, and a kitchen area for members to be able to cook their meals while on shift. There's also office areas for the chief, assistant chief, the captains, and the fire administrative assistant. Our facility also has a training room and an emergency operations center. The purpose of this room is for the staff to be able to have an area for training classes. Also, this room can be used as an emergency operations center during storms and other disasters that happen in our area. Our facility also has electronic lock doors, so it makes the firehouse safe for visitors and for staff. On behalf of the staff, we are grateful for our new facility and for us to call it home. We look forward to growing together with the town of Beaufort. At this time, let's call Captain Fulmer.
Good morning. One of the many traditions in the fire service is the decommissioning and commissioning of fire stations and fire apparatus. Today we would like to decommission the old Station 1 and commission our. Now Carter Communications will make an announcement across the county.
Attention all station units on the air, stand by for countywide broadcast. The Beaufort Fire Department would like to announce the closing of Station 1 at 900 Cedar Street, where it served the citizens from 1968 until 2017. The Beaufort Fire Department wishes now to announce the opening of new Station 1 at 506 Live Oak Street and welcome aboard Engine 1, Engine 2, Tanker 1, Watercraft 1, Brush 1, Car 2, and Car 1. We wish to describe the lady and those assigned to her a safe journey and the skills necessary to provide the best possible service to our visitors and the citizens of the town of Beaufort. Placed into service this 22nd day of February 2017. Carteret County Communications clear.
Thank you. This time we're going to Lieutenant Brian back.
Good evening, how's everybody doing? At this time, I'd like to introduce the town council. So at this time, Mayor Richard Stanley, will you please stand, and if you have any comments, please come up, sir.
I wasn't planning on any, but I do want to welcome everybody from the county and the other departments today. This is a very important day for Beaufort, and I love the weather the way this is, but I'm extremely proud, and our town board is extremely proud of this fire department, and especially this new building. It's a fabulous building. It's going to served us well. We've, over the years, done a lot of things for the fire department, such as the station we put out on 101 to try to help us to keep our rates low. I'm very proud of this building and what we've done, and I know the board is. It's great. Thanks.
And at this time, Mayor Pro Tem Charles McDonald, he cannot be here today due to he's sick. So I'd like to introduce Commissioner John Hagel, if he has any words.
It's a great day for Beaufort, for our history, and that we heard about. I'm proud to, we have a very proud history, and I know that the firefighters that we have here today will continue that great tradition of great service to our community, and welcome you all here to this great presentation today.
And at this time, Commissioner Ann Carter.
All I can say at this point is, hallelujah, we made it.
Commissioner Mariana Hollinshed.
Yes, I'd like to echo what my fellow commissioners have said. I'd like to welcome the backup people that we have here that are so important to our firefighters, because when the numbers are slim, they come in and help us. So, and thank you for showing up. This is a great building. I'm very proud of it.
And Commissioner Sharon Harper.
This has been a great opening. Everyone should be proud of all the accomplishments that have been done and made things possible for this wonderful piece of architecture to open up and to represent Beaufort. I'm very proud of all of our firefighters here. I can't praise what you do highly enough, the risk that you take for the citizens, and you do this selflessly every day. And this is a building that I hope will service you well to allow you to continue to do your job every day. And I believe all of the citizens thank your chief, your upline, everyone who's made it possible, your families that allowed you to be here every day. Let them see the kitchen on the inside. They won't envy you being here all the time. It looks beautiful. And just want to thank you all for being here today.
And Town Manager John Day.
Well, I'm afraid my contribution to the fire department thus far has been to show up for the dedication, since I've only been here about 2.5 weeks. But I do feel obligated to thank everybody that's been involved in bringing this station to reality. My predecessor, Charlie Burgess, all the firefighters and chief who were involved in helping the design firm with the design, to the construction company, all the staff that's been involved. Thank you all for what you've done to come up with this beautiful station that's truly befitting of the quality of our fine firefighters here. So, thank you.
And at this time, keeping with tradition, we are going to conduct the Young Couple and Host ceremony. Commissioners, Mayor. No, ma'am.
This is why trained professionals do this.
Charlie, if you step up just a minute, you oversaw the development of this and the construction of it. I'd like to give you the opportunity to say a few words, because we're very proud of what you did too.
And if it's okay with the break program, and I'll do my thing right now. Son of a fireman. know all about fire stations, grew up in fire stations, even to the extent that my sister came from Hampton, Virginia today to sit here and see the dedication of this fire station. So, you know, fire stations run deep in our family, and we know what they're supposed to look like, and we know what they are supposed to serve. In mentioning the commissioners, I also want to thank Commissioner Robert Campbell, prior Commissioner Robert Campbell, as he was on the board when the action was taken to move forward with this project. People to thank, Stuart Cooper Newell, Jody Jackson is here today representing Stuart Cooper Newell, the architects of this fine building. Hudson Brothers Construction, Lynn Hudson is here, as is Jay Jackson. And the man that really made this building what it is Sterling Pippen. Sterling was the man with the boots on the ground here every day, every night, whenever something was going on, and he's the one that made the drawings come to life, and he's the one that made this building what it is today. The drawings were very tight, which means we had minimal amount of problems in the field. The construction bid was very tight, which means we had a very minimal amount of changes in cost as we went through the project. Both an extreme attribute of our fortunate, I wouldn't say wisdom, but our fortunate circumstance to have had the opportunity to work with Stuart Cooper Newell and Hudson Brothers Construction on this process. ECS, Brett Folsom, probably pretty much had to live here in the early stages of this project and doing the testing of different materials and such, as we had considerable amount of problems in the development phase of the foundation. The building that you're going to tour is a building built for longevity. And by that I mean it's a fire station that's built to minimize upkeep and maintenance. When you walk into the building, you'll be surprised maybe at the amount of tile that's used on walls and those types of things. It's there for a purpose. It's a building that takes a beating. It's a building that's used 24/7, and it's a building that I believe 30 years from now, when you walk into this building, it's substantially inside and out going to look like it does today for you. And if I've spent a whole lifetime going into fire stations, if they're nothing else, when you go into them every time, they are clean. These guys take pride in their buildings, they take pride in their equipment, and you will be amazed at just how buildings such as this are maintained and the pride that they take, not only in what they do, but how they do it. In preparing for today, I dug through my closet, and I think a necktie jumped out at me that happens to be a Dalmatian and fire hydrants that belonged to my dad. And somehow it just jumped out into my hand. And Chief Burdett, I have one with police cars on it, so when we do the ribbon cutting on your new station, I'll make sure I break that out. Subtle hint to the commissioners. The programming phase of this building was probably the hardest phase, but one that involved the entire fire department, all personnel, admin staff as well as Commissioners Hollenshed and Hagel. And we drilled down to what you have before you today. And it was not an easy task, and it wasn't always a happy task, but it's one I think that now that the building's in reality, we all agree it is everything that we need and everything that we want in a building. You'll also notice in the apparatus bay, going from my right to my left towards the back of the building, there's a training feature in this building where the fire personnel will be able to practice certain second floor rescues, rappelling, and other activities out of the weather, but you know, they can train anytime on those types of maneuvers that they so desire. Some of the nuances, the kitchen was mentioned. when you go in and you tour, you're going to look and you're going to say, why are there 3 refrigerators? And that's because there's 3 shifts. I grew up in a day where I'd walk into a fire station as a 8 or 9-year-old and I'd see big chains around refrigerators and big padlocks. There's something about a fireman that comes in on that 3rd day and thought they left some leftover chili in that refrigerator that's not there anymore. So, you know, that's one of the nuances of the fire service. It is their home, a third of their life. And so what you thought you left at home this morning, you'd like to think was at home when you got in tonight. And so you'll see that. You'll see separate storage cabinets. In the bunk rooms, you'll see separate lockers for each of the 3 shifts for the personnel. As was mentioned earlier, there are 6 bunk rooms. We have 4 24 shift personnel now, so we've built this for expansion of the amount of folks that could be fire personnel that could be added to each shift. But then the department, in their infinite wisdom, took it a step further and put bunk beds in each one of the bunk rooms. So now you have actually sleeping for 12 in there, but on the front end of that gets you away from hot sheeting. Hot sheeting would be where every morning when I leave, I have to take my sheets off because the next firefighter is going to be sleeping in that same bed. But now, I guess somehow they figured out who's got the down bunk and who has the up bunk, but everybody, in theory, has their own mattress and their own place to sleep. And that was good thinking on their part. Thanks to the Board of Commissioners for your wisdom, your foresight, and just in believing. This building is not only a belief in the fire service, it's also a belief in the redevelopment of Live Oak Street and Cedar Street. There was a conscious decision made and considerable effort put forth by the architects in the facade that you're looking at. This facade basically mimics some of the architectural design in the business district on Front Street. The thought being that when and if the new bridge ever opens, that these streets right here from Lennoxville on around to Turner, the existing Route 70 will change, that something will happen with the old elementary school, that the county's now move forward with building a new facility to replace their tidy-looking arrangement next door right now. But this is making a statement about what the redevelopment thoughts are by the town leadership. And hopefully these are themes that will be continued and mimicked and relic as this area redevelops over time. And once again, thanks to those that designed it, those that built it, and most certainly those that financed it, and to the fire department, both admin staff and shift staff. Welcome to your new home.
And at this time, Chief Larry.
Thank you, Mr. Burgess. He was one of our guest speakers, but our next guest speaker is Mr. Darrell Rayner. He's with the North Carolina State Fire Marshal's Office. He's a field inspector. Darrell.
Thank you, Chief. On behalf of Commissioner Causey and Assistant State Fire Marshal Taylor, thank you for the invitation, Chief, and town officials. What a glorious occasion it is to be here to see Beaufort open up this fine station. As the Chief mentioned, I am the field inspector, and I have the privilege of Beaufort being one of my departments that I actually inspect, so I'm very familiar with the problems, or I won't say problems, lack of space and things that he had at the station. And I'd just like to commend the town and the chief for their forethought on planning for the future in such a nice facility. This is something that the town citizens should be proud of. And I challenge anybody, I do 14 southeastern counties, to get out and ride and look at fire stations. You're not going to find anything any nicer or be any more proud of than what Beaufort has here. And we just want to say thank you for looking toward the future and providing the best fire service possible for the citizens of Beaufort. Thank you, Chief.
basically Charlie stole a lot of my thunder. I was supposed to acknowledge a lot of the people that helped in this project, but leave it up to Charlie to steal somebody's thunder. First of all, I'd like to thank the town board of commissioners and the mayor for all this. We appreciate your all your votes and all your help all through the years for this. It's just unreal. We thank you so much. The boys, like they said, we spent a third of our life here, and this is something really to be proud of. And again, in 30 years, it'll look just like this, I promise you. But I thank Charlie Burgess, former town manager, and what I call a true friend. He asked us when we first started this of our input on this, and we gave him we gave him a wish list that bet you was 2 miles long. And oh Lord, and naturally we had to downsize a little bit on it because I don't think the town limits would have held the size building that we were asking for to begin with. But it's a nice place. It's a gorgeous place. The architects, Stuart, Cooper, and Noel. I'm telling you, gang, if you are looking to get a fire station designed, these are the people to do it. Hands down, these are the people to do it. General contractors, Hudson Brothers, Jay Jackson. I've had a many conversation with the man. Very, very down-home, down-to-earth guy. You're just not going to meet a better person. He really is a good guy. He told me one time, he says, you remind me a lot of me when I was younger. I told him, I said, Jay, I'm just a few years behind you, buddy. And then Sterling, he was on the job site about every day. Both him and Jay, all you had to do was make one phone call, and he'd answer the phone every time. If you had any kind of problems, hiccups, they were always on the phone. We had some volunteers associations that was in this, that was done in this. The Beaufort Firemen's Association, Miss Kathy. Miss Kathy is the backbone of the Beaufort Firemen's Association. She helps us for this department. I mean, it is just unreal what she does for this department. The Beaufort Garden Club, they came around and put some shrubbery down for us, some trees in the front. They're going to do some more for us as well. Can't wait to see what they got going on. Hopefully these firemen right here can keep some water on all the pretty stuff that they're putting in the ground. I'm sure I missed somebody, and if I have, I really apologize. But I would, in closing, these are a good group of guys. Your money here, tax money, is well spent. These guys here, I would take a bullet for any of them. I'm telling you, these are good guys. And rest assured, when you lay your head down at night and 911's called, these guys are coming to you. They know what they're doing. Medical, fire, whatever. You lay your head down at night knowing that you got some good guys coming to you. You can't say enough about them. Hair standing up on the back of my neck thinking about it right now. These are good guys. Thank you for your time. Our closest statements, I'll call it on Chief Larry Fulton.
Thank you, Richard. Wow, what a beautiful day. What a difference 12 months can make. Just over a year ago, we stood here on this vacant lot on a blustery, frigid January morning and broke ground for this building. But what's more even amazing is just over 150 years ago, citizens who were concerned about the loss of property and life in their town that was ravaged by fires formed the Oceanic Hook and Ladder Company. So with their buckets, their hand-drawn hose carts, and hand-pumping engines, they began trying to protect their town. They planted the seed that over time has sprouted and brought us to where we are today. Today we strive to carry on the same determination that those brave men did as we protect our communities. As time has gone by, the fire department's responsibilities and response area has grown immensely. This town and this county will continue to grow. The department will grow to meet these demands, and with this new building, it will help us. I would like to thank each and every one of you for taking time out of your busy schedule to stop by here and see this new building, celebrate this opening. We are here to welcome, you are welcome to stay toward this building. We have light refreshments for those that like to have some. They'll be in the kitchen. And I'd like to leave these few words with you. Out of the past and into the future. That is how we roll. Thank you.